Welcome to Swords to Podcast.
I love you.
Welcome to Swords to Podcast. My name is Adam.
My name is Thomas, and oh boy, am I excited. Am I excited for this one. Like I said last time, I'm a pig, and we got a lot of slop to get through today. We're neck deep in Avatar spoiler season, and let me just say, Adam, I know I've asked you to stay away as best that you can, but this set is living up to the hype. My hype, everyone else's hype. It seems like we're actually getting to a good spot, compared to Spider-Man. These cards are amazing, and I know that people have been buying it again, even with the prices a little higher, and it's for good reason, and we're gonna see some of that today. So I've picked out a couple cards that we're gonna get through. So without any further ado, let's just get into it. So the first two cards we can actually kind of bundle. These are two board wipes. So Adam, you want to go ahead and take it away?
Oh, lovely. Let me just full screen this. All right. So the first card on our list is Avatar's Wrath. This is 2 generic and 2 white for a sorcery. It reads, choose up to 1 target creature, airbend all other creatures, which airbending means exile them. While each of them is exiled, its owner may cast it for 2 generic mana rather than its mana cost. And then until your next turn, your opponents can't cast spells from anywhere but their hand. Exile Avatar's Wrath. Very interesting. I'm assuming you want my takes first on these.
Yeah, we can just stick with this one before we get to the next one. So what are you thinking about Avatar's Wrath? I know you're a big airbending fan.
Well, so this is a board wipe that you can reasonably play on your turn, and obviously you can only play it on your turn because it's a sorcery, but then it prevents your opponents from rebuilding with previous stuff.
For one turn.
At least for one turn.
Yeah.
I don't really know about this. I might put this in the Appa deck that I'm building, but because you're getting rid of or you're getting around all sorts of protection words, protection keywords like ward and indestructible. So it is good for 100% getting rid of everything for at least one turn. But it still feels like this is going to put you on the back foot because you have to cast it on your turn. I would just much rather run a regular Wrath of God or something in my decks. But, do you like this any better than some of the other stuff, Thomas?
Well, I think that it's just interesting because, as far as board wipes go, it's unique in the fact that it, exiles everything just for one turn cycle and they'll come back. And, like you said, it stops them from rebuilding at least for that one cycle. But the one cool thing is that it's only your opponents that can't cast them. But you can get your stuff back, right? It only hits creatures, which, there's probably better board wipes, more, one-sided ones. But it's cool because if you're building around the whole airbending thing, you're getting value off of it still by being able to recast your stuff and all that. So I think it's cool. Exiling it after you cast it is, not the greatest. So it's only like a one-time thing, but and that is a little bit why it went first. This one isn't super crazy, but I just thought it was really unique, and I wanted to make sure that you saw it.
I don't think the exiling thing is a super bad bit, just because like most board wipes, you're not really trying to loop them, especially ones that are instant sorceries. Like you don't really need that. So like I don't think the exiling thing matters a whole lot to me. It is kind of nice that we're getting a board wipe that is sort of one-sided, because not only can you get to airbend your own, or you can cast your own stuff later, like immediately, but you can also, like, I think I was kind of glazing over the fact that you can keep one creature.
Yeah.
Like I don't think we have any 4-cost board wipes that let you keep something of your own specifically. So that is nice. And then one that, we don't have any 4-mana board wipes that do anything but destroy. So it is kind of nice to get around, like I kind of said earlier, those keywords. So this might see some play. I don't know. I might have to see it actually happen in a game to think about how impactful it'll have to be.
the one thing, the last thing I'll say is just with exiling it after you cast it is compared to other board wipes, this feels like one that you would want to loop if you could. Um, if you're playing
Yeah,
your
which
deck
is
around
definitely
it.
why they had to add that.
Yeah, exactly. So, but it's still interesting. I'm excited to see it. See it get some play. I think even in limited, it could be cool. You know,
Yeah, for sure.
with like the one turn you're ready to win. All right, so let's go to the next one. This is also a board wipe, sticking on the same theme. You wanna talk about this one?
Okay. Day of Black Sun. This card is X generic and 2 black for a sorcery that reads each creature with mana value X or less loses all abilities until end of turn. Destroy those creatures. Why? Why would we want that?
Well, hey, I never said it was good. I just said it was a board wipe, right?
Well, it's just yeah. I'm just thinking, why would we want to remove? Because like the only thing that really turns off is death triggers and that kind of thing.
Yeah, but I think it's really cool that it turns off everything, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
if they have whatever it is they have, if they have indestructible or anything like that, then it turns it off. They can't really stop that. So it's interesting. It's not something I think we've seen before.
Yeah,
Just
that's
something I
just
wanted to
that's
throw it in.
really yeah, really interesting.
Yeah, like I said, hey, I put these first just because I thought that they were a little unique. I'm not expecting anything crazy. They are uncommons. Um, don't let this get your hopes down for the rest of the list, by the way. But I just wanted to throw these on because they're they do something so cool, and that's a big theme in this deck is they're really sticking to the uniqueness of like the set and pulling in all these things from the show, and I just think it's really cool a lot of the things that they've been doing, and in Commander it'll be one thing. In Limited, I think this is going to play super super well. Maybe not necessarily this card a whole lot, but just a lot of the set in general because of how just unique it is. Um,
Yeah, I'd bet. I'd bet.
all right. With that aside, let's get into some like the real juicy stuff. So these next two cards I have on the list, they are big splashy sorceries that do something unique in each of their own ways. So we can go ahead and get started. Next one is going to be Sozin's Comet. You want to tell us what Sozin's Comet does?
Yeah. Sozin's Comet is 3 generic and 2 red for a sorcery, which reads each creature you control gains Firebending 5 until end of turn. And Firebending 5 means whenever this creature attacks, add 5 red mana. And then this mana lasts until end of combat. This card also has Foretell for 2 generic and a red, which means that during your turn you may pay 2 generic and exile it from your hand face down, and then you can cast it on a later turn for its Foretell cost. That still, unfortunately, does obey timing restrictions, so you can only cast this as a sorcery on your turn if you foretell it. But this is interesting. I mean, I like that this goes in every deck that already cares about firebending. So this is, flavor win, because you're already going to have ways to abuse that mana and use all of it in combat. But I think, is this card overrated? Because I've
So
been hearing a little bit of talk about it.
the one thing I'll say, just firebending in general, I think is an insanely powerful ability. The only drawback in my eyes is that they have to attack. So it's not like a Zuri where it just happens at the beginning of every combat, right? So
Mm-hmm.
the creatures have to attack to get the firebending off. But like I said, this is a big splash. Like you play this when you're ready to do something, and this card on its own, it seems really good. Uh, but like you said, it fits into any firebending deck. But paired in the right firebending deck, I think is where it's really gonna see, its legs grow. And that's just a little spoiler. There's one card that's gonna come later in this list that we're gonna read, and you're gonna look back and be like, okay, so Sozin's Comet. Now this is starting to all the pieces are coming together, right? So we'll get to that when we get to it. But just on its own, I think, I mean, it costs 5 mana, which isn't terrible. It pays for itself just by having one creature be able to use it, right? And the foretell I think is good because if you draw it early, you can throw it down, and then on a later turn it's even cheaper. Um, I think just depending on how many creatures you have, like it's red. It's really easy to make a lot of really small creatures that you can attack with and get just the big mana. So I think yeah, it fits in any deck, but in the right one, it can be really really powerful.
Yeah, could be good. Um, I mean, I'm thinking about this for CEDH because so think about the decks like Rogthras. They like to just have a few creatures out, between 3 and 5, so they can get Gaia's Cradle online. This would be crazy because uh you can use all this mana during combat to activate Thrasios' ability. That would be an interesting interaction. But it is a
Yeah,
sorcery.
it
Yeah,
is a
maybe no one's gonna.
sorcery.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's gonna play this. Never
Yeah,
mind.
I don't think it'll fit in the CDH. Maybe it'd be cool to see it.
Yeah, it would be
But it's
interesting.
just
Like the
it's that attack that really takes it back.
yeah,
Having to attack.
main
But
sorcery source. Well, you're having to play it as sorcery. Like you can't just like cast it. I mean, I guess you wouldn't get attack triggers anyway, but
yeah,
you're not able to cast it at instant speed. Just kind of sucks.
yeah. Well, keep this one in the back of your mind for when we get a little bit later in the list. You'll see a legend
All
that
right, all right,
maybe will fit well. But let's go to the next one. This one is a little different.
all right. So the next card on the list is Foggy Swamp Visions. This card is 1 generic and 2 black for another sorcery. As an additional cost to cast this spell, Waterbend X. While paying a Waterbend cost, you can tap your artifacts and creatures to help. Each one pays for 1 generic mana. And it reads exile X target creature cards from graveyards. For each creature card exiled this way, create a token that's a copy of it. At the beginning of your next end step, sacrifice these tokens. All right, so at base, this is 4 mana for one clone effect that hits one thing and leaves at the end step. In black is so interesting. And it's from all graveyards. I like this. I really like this.
I think the only thing that I would say takes it back is that you're creating tokens. You're not just getting the actual card and then sacrificing them.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't even think that really matters. Like this, like I said, big splashy sorcery. Late in the game when you have a ton of mana, graveyards are full. This can be an absolute killer.
Yeah, it's like a Rise of the Dark Realms kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
Yeah.
Very. I mean, because would you want this in a self-mill deck? Maybe, because the problem is you're exiling it, so you don't want to hit your own stuff necessarily. I mean, this would be good. This could be good for, like those regular reanimator style decks that we talked about a couple episodes ago, when we talked about the game changers. But because like this could be like a genuine finisher for those decks.
Yeah.
Because like normally they hit 1 or 2 big things and they use that value to kind of coast into the late game, and then once they've had their stuff removed or whatever, and they're just trying to do more than just play one thing a turn, you could play this and just hit the whole graveyard.
Mm-hmm.
That would be good.
Yeah, it's good. It's good because it kind of shuts down. Like if other people are trying to use their graveyard, it can shut that down.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the really big thing is having the water bending because you don't have to just pay for it. You can tap artifacts and creatures. So in a way,
Mm-hmm.
it's like I don't want to say it's like free, but it would feel kind of free, depending on what you're trying to do, because tapping mana rocks is the same as just paying, but tapping any other artifact, equipment, or something that just genuinely does not matter if it's tapped, it's literally free. It's like you're getting just more creatures for free.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this one is really cool, and I think in any environment this will be a lot of fun. I'm definitely expecting to see, out of everything that we've talked about so far, this is the one that I would expect to see first. And,
Really? I don't think I would play this.
so far.
I don't think I would play this in a deck that isn't already playing into it. Like I wouldn't put this in a deck just for the generic value of maybe getting stuff from my opponents. I would want this in a deck so that I can hit my own stuff, and then if I need to, I can hit my opponents. I would be pretty confident in saying that Sozin's Comet's going to see more play than this.
Yeah, I mean, I think I think Sozin's Comet can slot into. I think it. Yeah, it could be better, but it might not slot into as many decks. I feel like this could just generically be good in decks that are doing something else that aren't trying to play around like avatar mechanics. But hey,
Mm-hmm.
could be wrong. Um, I think that I think that playing it on your own stuff may feel bad. Like if like you said, if you wanted to have those cards still, so exiling them from the graveyard, might not always be the most advantageous thing for you to do for your own game plan. But hey, that depends on how you want to build whatever around, you know, what deck you're throwing this in. So I think it's an interesting card, and I think you kind of hit it on the nose with Mill is probably the best place for it. So.
Yeah.
All right, with that, let's get into some of the real gas. Um, Everything else on the list, with the exception of one card, which is not next but the one after, are all legends. So the next card that we're going to get into is the only one on the list that is at uncommon. Everything else is rare or mythic, and I think I misspoke by the way. I think so. Every other card that we've done so far is either rare or mythic. Sorry, the colors are inverted, so it looks like an uncommon. Yeah, the sorcery, the board wipes, those are all rares. My fault. But this is gonna be the only uncommon on our list, and it's Hama the Bloodbender. So we're gonna ramp it up. I put these in order, by the way, of what I think is getting to be the most powerful. So Adam, you want to go ahead and give us some of your thoughts on Hama the Bloodbender? Tell us what she does, and then what you're thinking.
Yeah. Sure. Hama the Bloodbender is 2 generic and 3 Dimir hybrid mana, so it's either a blue or a black, for a 3/3 legendary creature human warlock. When Hama enters, target opponent mills 3 cards. Exile up to 1 non-creature, non-land card from that player's graveyard. For as long as you control Hama, you may cast the exiled card during your turn by waterbending X rather than paying its mana cost, where X is its mana value. This card is bad, Thomas.
Yeah, but like, think about it. We were wondering where Foggy Swamp Visions would come in. It's the Hama deck. Um, yeah, no, I mean, I don't think she's anything like crazy, crazy. The thing that really takes it back is non-creature, non-land. But it is pretty cool.
Oh my god, that's even worse.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
no, this card's awful.
Well, because the first time I read it, I didn't see
Oh,
that. No, but think about it like this though. I mean, it's an ETB trigger, so you can like do it, a bunch of times, and it's not like it only targets something that you milled. It targets anything that was in their graveyard, whether it was already there, whether it was put there. And it is, always cool when you can pay for stuff with I mean, playing it for free is obviously the best. But the alternate cost, like I said, the water bending, sometimes it could kind of equate to free if you have a bunch of
yeah,
stuff that just doesn't matter if
but
it's taxed. So
we're paying 5 mana for something that gives us that draws us 1 card that everyone already gets to see because it was in their graveyard, and we still have to pay for it.
yeah.
This card's awful.
Yo, I said that we're ramping it up, okay? I said that we're ramping it up. I saw this card and I'm like, and hey, I didn't think it was gonna be anything crazy, but I thought it was just really, really interesting.
Non-creature really, really
It
limits
really
this
does,
one.
yeah. Well, because
That hurts.
and that's the big reason I put it on. Because when I first read the card, I didn't see non-creature. I'm like, wow, this is kind of cool. And then I read that and I'm like, I don't know about
I
all
still don't
this.
think I would play it even if it wasn't non-creature.
Well, I was thinking that I might try and throw something together, maybe. But now I'm thinking about it, like there's plenty more that came out that I'm definitely more excited for. But hey, I don't hate this card, and the one cool thing is that it doesn't even have to be a commander. It can slot into the 99 in either a blue or a black deck if they make that change, the hybrid mana
If they make
change,
that
right?
rule,
Yeah.
yeah.
So there you go. um, okay, okay. Let's get serious because you already know what card is next.
Oh,
I know that you maybe been a little disappointed by the list so far, but I told you, we're gonna start ramping it up.
this
And
one's a heater.
yeah, I'll read this one. This one was one of the very first cards I think that got spoiled like in the last couple days when the legit spoiler season, and I saw this, and believe you me, I got the Toph deck cooking, and even just without Toph, this card is insane. One and a green. It's a Badger Mole Cub. It is a 2/2 Badger Mole creature. So it's non-legendary. And when this creature enters Earthbend 1, and whenever you tap a creature for mana, add an additional green. And as a reminder, Earthbending is you choose a land and it becomes a 1/1, and whenever it leaves the battlefield, like exiles or gets destroyed, it'll come back tapped as just a regular land again. Adam, Badger Mole Cub, what are we thinking here?
Oh man, the fact that this is a badger mole kind of sucks. Like it's not, obviously it's not an elf, and so it's gonna hurt it when it comes to, putting it in these elf ball style decks, which is pretty much where it's gonna go. Um, this card kind of seeing this card early on introduced me to a thought process that we didn't originally consider when we looked at Earthbend, and that was fetch lands.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing Earthbend 1 on something so cheap that already has an insane static ability is nuts. So if you Earthbend a fetch land, and then you sacrifice the fetch land to go get a land, the Earthbending ability will trigger, and the fetch land will come back onto the battlefield tapped, and then later you can crack the fetch land again for a second land. So I really like that interaction, and the fact that this card is 2 mana to do something like that, like you're already starting at like a rampant growth type deal. Like that's kind of your rate 2 mana for an extra land later on. But just the static ability again is so dumb on top of that. This is going to be one of the chase cards in the set, 100%.
So
Besides like maybe some of the legends, right?
yeah,
Um and it's coming in with this was this art from Bloomborough that they initially started doing this with like the diagram art.
I think so.
But it's pretty sweet. I like that.
They're
I like
doing
that
it for a
lot.
lot of cards though, and it's so cool.
Yeah.
It
I'm just
fits
trying to
the
remember
theme
if
so
it
well
was.
too.
Oh yeah, I'm just trying to remember if it was Bloomborough that we first saw this, and I think so. This art style, I don't remember because it was like Sunspine Lynx and Eluge came in this art, and Lumro.
Yeah, so it probably was Bloomborough in that case. But yeah, no, this I think just at its face, the 2 mana for that static ability already feels pretty good. And then you
Mm-hmm.
pile it on with the Earthbend, and it's just like really like kind of. I know we say this all the time. What were they thinking, just packing all this in this little tiny package, right? Um, the the only issue is being in green. If you're trying to build, like you said, like that elf, type of landfall or big ramp, deck, it's not gonna get that earth bending, you know, trigger, crazy amounts of time. It's not like if it was in like a blink deck or something. Green isn't always the greatest for running those kinds of loops. You'd want to pair it with like white with blue, and um again, a little bit of a spoiler, but maybe there is a creature that we'll see on this list that's a legend that's in Bant that wants to do blink stuff. So it's so funny how all these things are kind of like going to start coming together. But I don't want to spoil that one either. We will get there. So again, like I say, keep this one in the back of your mind as well. But so if you can keep getting the Earthbend triggers off, then it's just pretty busted, because then you can just do all sorts of things. You said the fetch lands. You can attack with your creatures. You can get extra landfalls when they leave and come back. Even the fetch land, think about that. You get the landfall off the fetch land coming in. you get the landfall off whatever it fetches, you get the landfall off of it coming back, right, with the earthbend, and then you kind of rinse and repeat. Um, there's just so much that this hits, and I think it's going to be good no matter where you put it. Like in any green deck, I don't say any green deck. I mean any mono green deck for sure, because you have all your mana dorks, and it's just insane value. You know, it's obviously not at the level it can in, or it's any non land
Mm-hmm.
thing. But let me put this out for you. When you earthbend something, what does it become? What does that land become?
A creature.
Exactly. So it's like it's already kind of doing more than canon. And I know it takes a little bit longer. If you have a lot of other earthbending stuff in your deck, it's like now all your lands are tapping for an extra green.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty insane. It's kind of ridiculous how good this card is. I can see why they
Yeah.
spoiled it, right at the beginning. Um, wow, yeah, I cannot wait to play with this card. I hope it's not super difficult to get. I know all the pre-sale stuff for everything. I don't know this one's price right now, but they're like the
It's gonna
prices.
be up there.
Yeah, I hope that this one. I mean, this one is mythic though, so it's going to be a little bit harder to get
Mm-hmm.
in general. Um, but I'm really hoping I can pull one of these bad boys. Luckily, it'll be available in like regular packs, not like some of these other like alternate art stuff that's only in collectors. So that's the one good thing just when it comes to trying to get this thing. But that's gonna do it for all of our non-legends. I know Hama was, but we won't count her. Now is when we get into some real interesting cards. So there's going to be one on the remainder of this list that I know that you've seen. A lot of people have been talking about it, but I'm hoping a couple of these are going to be a little bit new to you. So our next card here is going to be Boomy Unleashed. So this was spoiled on day 2. Most of the cards on my list came from day 1. There's here and there were after. This is the day 2. So you want to go ahead and take it away, Adam, with Boomy Unleashed?
Sure. Boomy Unleashed is 3 generic, a red and a green, for a 5/4 legendary human noble ally. He's got trample, and when Boomy enters, Earthbend 4. Whenever Boomy deals combat damage to a player, untap all lands you control. After this phase, there is an additional combat phase. Only land creatures can attack during that combat phase. Combat damage, untap all lands. Not something we're super new to in Magic. Now, are you thinking about this in the 99 or as a commander?
So, I mean, I think he'd be good in the 99, but I'm thinking about it as a commander because let's look at let's look at it for the whole card. So it's in Gruul, right? So you
Mm-hmm.
got your green for your earthbending, and you got your red for your firebending, and double combats with firebending feels pretty good already. He comes built in with so he wants to deal combat damage, and he comes built in with trample, which is just phenomenal. Like you said, untapping all lands isn't something we haven't seen before. But the second combat only being land creatures. So the one thing that I'm gonna say for this is like I'm not. That's not. I'm kind of looking at everything. Oops, everything before that. Um, Not to say that that's even bad. 'Cause if your plan is to earthbend a bunch and you got a ton of land creatures, then pretty good. And I'm gonna say this a million times, but even in the 99 with Toph, this would be insane because I know you have to make like artifacts into lands, but if you had like artifact creatures or whatever other way to make you know creatures into artifacts, which then they become lands. So, Toph is just gonna fit well with a whole lot of cards, but that's kind of where I'm thinking of. So just in the command zone, I feel like he really does a lot, carries a lot on his back. What do you think?
Yeah, I like it. Um, it does fit very well with firebending. Um, I liked how you mentioned that. Um, but also untapping the lands. This whole synergy with untapping stuff during combat goes really well with firebending. So like if you have ways to use the firebending mana, then untapping your lands multiple times will probably also feed into that. So that would be really cool. Um, yeah, no, this would be a fun deck. A Gruul big mana deck, but a very different way to do it than you'd expect.
Yeah, well, because the other big thing too, I know I just mentioned it, is that second combat is whatever. You know, you don't have to attack with all your land creatures in the first one. It can just be him. You get your trample damage through. You untap all your
Mm-hmm.
lands. You don't have to attack with them. It just means that you have all your lands are untapped.
Yeah.
And it's not even like it just untaps land creatures. It untaps all lands. Period. Um, that's pretty insane.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty insane. I know it's nothing that we haven't seen before, but it's just what you can do with it. Like it feels like they could have trapped this into a smaller box, but they really just kind of opened it up and said, hey, have at it, which I love. I love that they're not adding too many restrictions.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
so yeah, I love Boomy. I think I'll probably try and throw something together with him. If not, he's probably going to go in the 99 of Toph if I had to find somewhere for him. So that's
Mm-hmm.
Boomy. Let's go ahead and get into the next one. This is one I was really excited for. I know I talked about it. The two characters that I was super excited for to build in this set was Toph and it was Iroh. And I'll be honest, I was a little bit disappointed because all the other Iroh cards we've gotten were a little disappointing. They weren't as big and as crazy good as I was expecting. And I saw this one and I'm like, I mean that's cool. Um, and I've been trying to convince it, that it's growing on me, and it is a little bit. I think it does something really unique, and that is why I want to throw it on this list. And just because I said I was going to, I'm probably going to end up building him. But you wanna tell us a little bit here, Adam, about Iroh Grand Lotus?
Yes. Iroh is 3 generic, a green, a blue, and a red for a legendary human noble ally. 5/5. He has Firebending 2, and during your turn, each non lessened instant and sorcery card in your graveyard has flashback. The flashback cost is equal to that card's mana cost. And during your turn, each lessened card in your graveyard has flashback 1 generic. Okay. I mean, I haven't seen a lot of the lessons from this set yet. Um, but the only other ones that I can think of from Strixhaven, I'm pretty sure what they all have in common is they're cards that are okay, but they're not efficiently costed, if I remember correctly. Um, so
In
being
general,
able
I
to
think so.
Yeah, and so being able to give them flashback for 1 generic is pretty cool. The problem is you have to get them into the graveyard, so you might have to actually cast them for the bad rate first, um, and then flash them back for cheaper. But I don't think any deck built around Iroh is going to have a whole lot of those lesson cards. I don't really think enough of them are good enough to warrant that. Um, but I mean, I'm sure there's probably going to be some from the new set because what that redirect lightning was a lesson
I
card, I
think
think.
so. Yeah. I also. Oh, I don't know if redirect lightning is a lesson. I know that it'll quench you is a lesson.
Oh,
It'll quench you.
perfect.
Yeah.
But I think it's interesting. I mean, giving everything flashback is good. During your turn is definitely very limiting. Don't know how much I
Mhm.
love that, but yeah, I mean, it's good. It's in the right colors.
I mean that's kind of exactly what I was thinking. Is like, giving everything flashback is good, but like it it's just not it's not screaming crazy powerful, but it just feels like a really good just like utility just to have, and you really have to build your deck specific. I think I have to look into it. They're releasing. There's more lessons that they have been spoiling for this set, which are pretty decent. I don't think obviously I didn't have any on this list, and I can't think of any good ones off the top of my head. There's definitely some good stuff off Strixhaven. So there's stuff that you could definitely find, I think. And even though for the most part, they're not efficiently costed. That's not to say that they all aren't. So you can find some pretty decent stuff, and just being able to flash it back for one generic is pretty crazy. Whether like if you're self milling, maybe I don't know. There's a few ways I think you could build this, and I think it's just general, pretty like decent value. It's not like insane, not like an insane engine, but it's just you're gonna get good value with however you decide to build around him. And I'll have to figure that out because I said I was gonna do it, so I'm gonna commit to it.
Yeah. Well, I like the idea of, you want to ramp pretty quickly and then you want to maybe play a couple rituals in this deck. So you can run all the efficient land ramp, your Farseek, your Nature's Lore, that kind of stuff. And so while you're ramping to get to your 6 mana commander, you're also putting pieces in the graveyard that you can then recast later. So you're setting up in two different ways at once. And I like that play style. Like, turn one, maybe Mana Dork, turn two, like a Cultivate. And then see that'll give you, yeah, and then turn three you ramp again, turn four drop your 6 mana commander with extra lands, and then you know recast some of those ramp spells. That seems pretty good.
Yeah, like I said, I don't hate it. I think that it's gonna be, it's not like the craziest thing that we'll see, especially not today. But
Hmm.
I think it'll be a lot of fun, and it always is good to have just a way to play your stuff again. Like in a way, doesn't it kind of feel like, I'm not gonna say 200 because you're not gonna have all 200 instants and sorceries, but in a way, it's kind of like you have like duplicates of each card in your deck, and it's not like you have to wait and hope to draw it. You just as long as Iroh's out, you just get to have it, the
Hmm.
second time whenever you want, which is pretty cool. And this commander is most certainly not a lightning rod. I wouldn't care too much about him being out there. I
Yeah, it's
wouldn't.
like a value piece.
Yeah, it's not like a kill on sight, so it's I don't think you have to worry about once he lands, keeping him, or like having to try and keep him around to make sure you keep getting that value. So I think there's a lot of cool things going for it.
Hmm.
Yeah. But let's keep going, because this one I know that you've heard about. This one's all the talk right now. And here, I'll read this. I'll read Wan Shi Tong Librarian, and you can give your 2 cents, because that's what everyone's been doing on this since he was spoiled. So Wan Shi Tong Librarian is X and 2 blue for legendary bird spirit 1/1 with flash, flying, and vigilance. And when Wan Shi Tong enters, put X 1/1 counters on him, then draw half X cards rounded down. And this is the big one, whenever an opponent searches their library, put a 1/1 counter on Wan Shi Tong and draw a card. Adam, what are we thinking?
Um, as a commander, nothing absurd. I mean, it's good having utility and like a mini draw engine in the command zone. I like that. But yippee, another mono blue commander that draws a bunch of cards. Like we've seen this kind of thing before, but in the 99 is where I think this card shines, because we have a lot of 2 mana draw engines. Seems like we're pretty much getting one with every set now. Um, it's good. The 2 blue pips kind of sucks, kind of holds it back a little bit. Um, but it's like I would compare it to because it's Archivist of Ogma basically in blue, because it draws whenever your opponent searches their library.
Yeah.
Um, where I think this card's going to shine is in Kinnan, like in CEDH. So it's an infinite mana outlet, or infinite colorless mana outlet, so you can draw your deck with Kinnan, but it's also a 2 mana draw engine, so you can kind of pivot with it. What do you think, Thomas?
No, I was thinking the same thing, and that's why I think even in the command zone it's not that bad, because it's always good to have like an infinite outlet in the command zone. Then you'd be kind of stuck to just blue, which is
Yeah,
its only
that
thing.
sucks.
But yeah, its second ability in CEDH for sure is just crazy. If you can get this out, turn one. The 2 blue pips makes it tough, but if you can get this out turn one, you don't need to put anything into X if you don't need to, because you're gonna get your draws off everyone, fetching and tutoring, whatever it is. So I think that it's gonna see some play. I don't know how long it's gonna last. I think this one, in my opinion, is a little bit overhyped. People are thinking that it's, some game breaking card. It's gonna be so crazy good, and I think it's gonna be good. Yeah, I think it's fine. I feel like just drawing one card only when your opponents search their library, it's not going to do as much as you would hope. Depending on the game. Like some games, it's obviously gonna get its own, go crazy. But we'll really just have to see where it sees play. But here's my big question for you, Adam. And I think I asked this when we first saw this card. What card do you think is better, Wan Shi Tong or that Katara, the mono blue experience counter?
As a commander,
We can go both. We can go both. As a commander, well, I guess people don't really want to be playing Katara. Well, no, people are talking about it in the 99. Let's do both. Let's say which one's better as a commander and which one's better in the 99.
I think Katara is the better commander because you build the deck totally different with Katara. Like you just build it full of interaction and keep just redrawing it and break parity on that. But I think Wan Shi Tong is better in the 99 because it's just a better generic draw engine. Because you can
Yeah,
flash this in, guarantee yourself drawing one card. You don't have to do any other setup. You don't have to do any building around.
fair enough.
This is a totally reactive piece.
Yeah. You know, I guess that's the one thing I wasn't even thinking about. The flash is pretty good. Being able to like kind of throw it in whenever. Or like if
You can at
you
least guarantee you're going to draw one.
Yeah, guarantee you draw one. I'm gonna say it's like if you can make infinite mana, but you can't necessarily use it on your turn or use it on someone else's turn. Like if you don't have like the win on yours, I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too far into it. Maybe I'm completely
Well,
just
and
like
it's
going
also
around my
and it
head.
also could kill you. So here's the thing, like you don't want to go all the way down to nothing with this card because it's not a May ability. So an opponent can crash a fetch land in response to something and force you to draw a card and you lose the game.
Yeah, draw an extra. Yeah, so you
So
might
there's
want that
that
one with
too.
the whole thing. That's true. Um, but this one's at instant speed, so it's like if they don't have it, if you can play it when they don't, that they don't have anything to
Mhm.
draw, but that's, again, hoping that they don't have it in their hand. Um, and, I think the only other thing that we're kind of missing, maybe this isn't as relevant in CDH, but the 1/1 counters, and it has flying and vigilance, that's nothing to sneeze at. If you're getting enough triggers off of this guy, it's going to get pretty big, and you can just, start swinging it with flying, and
Yeah, that's
it's
fair.
vigilance. You know, there's just a little cherry on top, I would say.
Mhm.
Um, but no, definitely, it'll see a lot of play. That's just kind of where I'm at. Is I don't know how long it's gonna last, and I may be completely wrong.
Mhm.
This might be like the next big thing, the biggest thing since sliced bread. I don't know, but that's Wan Shi Tong. So now there are three left on this list, Adam, and let me just say these I I know that I've been alluding to it a bunch of times. This is the real slop. This is like the creme brulee of slop. This is the what do you I don't know like a 5 course 5-star dining slop. This is what they're serving you. Um, I don't know why I'm so hung up on that pig thing, but these last three cards are insane. Let's get straight into it. I want you to take it away with this next one.
Okay. Number 1 is Ozai the Phoenix King. The 2 generic, 2 black, and 2 red for a 7/7 legendary human noble with trample, firebending 4, and haste. And if you would lose unspent mana, that mana becomes red instead. Ozai has flying and indestructible as long as you have 6 or more unspent mana. This card's dumb. You you're getting a 7/7 or a 7/7 for 6 with hard to cast pips, kind of standard. Um, with trample, firebending, 4, and haste. So you get 4 of that mana back immediately. As long as he stays on the battlefield, you don't lose that mana. So it's not just regular firebending mana. It's like mana that you get to keep, and use during main phases and cast sorcery speed stuff. You know, uh, and if you have any other mana, he's hard to kill. Like, and hard to block flying. Like, what are we doing? What,
And what was
like,
the one card that I said keep it on the back burner?
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wonder where Sozin's Comet's gonna fit in perfectly. I wonder. Maybe the deck where you don't lose any of that mana, even if you don't use it in combat.
Oh, this is nuts.
Yeah, like in
Like, this
Rakdos.
is what you need to build.
Yeah. Hey, I'm gonna build all of them. I'm gonna have a lot of decks coming out of this set, and I knew that was gonna be the case. Literally, the next like this card and the next two, I'm gonna build all three of them. I'll build Iroh. I'm build Boomy. I'm gonna have a lot. But this one, oh my god, it I feel like I can imagine Wizards in like the drawing room for this one. They had like a whiteboard. They're like, all right, so Ozai the Phoenix King. They maybe draw up the mana cost and the art, but they had like a blank text box, and like, all right, so what are we gonna give to it? Everyone in the room had like little darts with their keywords on it, and they just started like throwing them all, and everyone that's stuck is what they what they left on this card. Oh my gosh, it's it's just ridiculous.
Well,
Like
no,
it's
what they did was what happened was um they passed a clipboard around the office and they had people write on it like, "Oh, what are some good abilities that this guy could have?" And then that clipboard got handed to corporate and they must have thought, "Oh, this is everything they want on the card. Any possible ability that could go on this card, yeah, they're just like put it on there." Yep.
just for 6 mana, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I can't even believe it. Like there's not even like too much to really say about it. Just that, yeah, that of course this thing is fucking good. Like there's not a single downside. Oh my god.
Crazy.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, Ozai. Let let's just leave it at that. And actually, what we'll do, just with these last three, because I think this is the best part to do this. Let's rank these last three on just how good you think they're gonna be, Adam. So
Okay.
Ozai will stay at number one for now, but let's get into the next two cards and just do you think that they're better than Ozai?
Got
So
it. Got it.
let's get into this next one. And the one thing I'll say too is there's this art version. So this artist for this next card, so Dominic Mayer, he I guess did this whole like scenes. These aren't like the normal like scene box cards, but a bunch of these cards stick together. So the Ozai is like the centerpiece. There's this Fire Lord Azula that's below it, and it'll also go with another version of Zuko, and then the last Agni Kai, and then there's also an Aang, and I don't. It might be this. It might be this other Aang. I don't remember exactly which Aang it is, but they all like fit together, and it's just so beautiful. It's like this black and white, and like just the card. Like I love it when the cards like just fit together without being part of like a scene box. Because I'll be honest, the scene box cards are a little questionable.
Mhm.
All right, enough of me jabbering about art. Take it away with Fire Lord Azula.
All right. Firelord Azula is one generic, a blue, a black, and a red for a 4/4 legendary creature, human noble, with firebending 2. And whenever you cast a spell while Firelord Azula is attacking, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. This seems fun. Um, what I think is the coolest bit about this card is, I mean, obviously you're paying 4 mana for a 4/4 that can generate you some mana. That's cool. Um, but I don't think we have any other commanders that give us access to this copy synergy in black. Normally, this is just an is it thing. So there might be some spicy things you can do with being able to copy cards in black that because normally you wouldn't have access to that color identity. That's the only thing I can think of. I mean, we've seen commanders that copy things all the time, but this could be interesting with access to different colors.
Yeah, I mean, copying. It's only while she's attacking,
Yeah.
which is something. But the cool thing about that is that's at any point during combat. So, you have your firebending, you get your mana to be like when they attack. So you can copy spells while she's attacking before blockers, copying spells while blockers are declared, or block or copying spells while the damage is assessed. So there's like three big stages when you can copy stuff, and I think that is like the big thing where there's different spells that you're going to want to copy, like before blockers, during blockers, afterwards. So there's a lot of really cool things I think that this opens up, and you're right, just being in the colors, there's probably some really fun stuff out there, and I'm really excited. I think, if I'm not mistaken, on Mox Field, out of the, I know that there's a ton of commanders that have been built, but from when I checked, which would have been a couple days ago, on Mox Field, between Ozai, this one, this Azula, and the next card that we're gonna see, this one had the most builds. Like, the most people were putting Azula together. So, that's just something to show that the community is excited about it, and that's the thing I really love, is when a card feels like it doesn't just lock you into one type of build. Not like I'm I'm not gonna say this as like a downside to Iroh, but with Iroh, it's like you want to have maybe lessons, or you want to just have like a bunch of instant sorceries that you want to flashback. So it's kind of like one thing that you can do. But with Azula, you're just copying spells. So it's like, well, I mean, during combat, but so it's like, what do you want to copy? Do you want to do a ton of damage, or do whatever else? I feel like there's just a lot of paths that you can take with this like, in your command zone.
Yeah, for sure. I think this is gonna be a lot of fun.
So then the question is, do you think it's better than Ozai?
Nope.
No,
Nope.
no. It's close, maybe. It's a little close.
Nope.
No.
No.
Yeah.
No.
All right. So as it'll stand now, we got Ozai still at number one, and then Azula at number two. Do you think maybe, just going back, do you think Azula better than Iroh or Boomy?
I think better than both.
Both, yeah. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. So it'll be a lot of fun. We'll see how this goes together. I'll
Hmm.
probably build this as well. I build them all. But let's get into our final card. And this one,
Got it.
I was the most excited for you to see. That's the reason why I saved it for last. And why don't you just go ahead and take it away?
This is Aang at the Crossroads. Two generic, a green, a white, and a blue for a legendary human avatar ally. He's a 3/3 with flying. When Aang enters, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may put a creature card with mana value 4 or less from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. When another creature you control leaves the battlefield, transform Aang at the beginning of the next upkeep. Um, he transforms into Aang Destined Savior, who is a 4/4 legendary avatar ally with flying. Land creatures you control have vigilance, and at the beginning of combat on your turn, Earthbend 2. I'm curious as to why you're so excited about this one beyond some of the others, because this to me just feels like a generic value commander.
Mhm.
But what are you thinking, Thomas?
Well, here's kind of what my thoughts were on this. Is Let's just start here. The backside, I don't think, yeah, I don't really care too much about the backside. If anything, I wouldn't even want the backside to trigger, if I can help it. And if you're running like a blink strategy, you can if you want other creatures to leave, you can get away from having to do the transform if he's leaving at the same time, I think. Or maybe not. Does he have to be? I don't know. I'd have to look into exactly how they see each other, and when, and if they stay. But
Wait, what are
that
you talking about?
so for transforming him, so it's whenever another creature you control leaves, then you transform him at the beginning of the next upkeep. So to get around that, if you want other creatures to blink, or just if they die, whatever, if you blink him, I does that stop the trigger? Like if he's
Yes,
like,
because it would be a different instance.
but if they're
So if you
leaving at the
flicker,
same time though. Yeah. Oh yeah, because then they would be gone. Yeah. So it's only so
yeah.
then yes. So blink kind of gets around you having to flip to the backside if you don't want to. But that was kind of the big thing. It's just that first part. Oh my gosh, I think that's just. I know like you said, generic value, but I thought it was just so good. Um, just getting to put stuff on the battlefield for free is always just my favorite thing. It's just there's nothing that compares. I know it's only mana value 4, and he has to enter, but I mean in ban like blinking like it's not that hard to get that done.
So your thought is to just put a pan harmonic on the battlefield and just
Mm.
blink your commander over and over and over again. Is
Oh
that
yeah.
where you're
Mm-hmm,
going with this?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
because think about it like
Interesting.
this too, is you can throw a bunch of stuff in there, like I don't know, Flicker Wisp or other cards. There's some
Yeah.
Flicker Wisps
Yeah.
I can't think of the name of, and it's like you're flipping into like they're super cheap. You're flipping into them and just getting the blink, and you can just keep going through. Flicker Wisp maybe is not the greatest example because you have to wait till your end step. I want to say
Yeah. But like Feldar
Quarters.
Guardian.
Yeah, whatever it is, and just blink them. And then like if you hit, and that's if you hit a Felidar Guardian, then you just get another free one to keep going. And you're
Hmm.
just going through and just trying to get your free creatures. Like flipping creatures onto the battlefield for free is amazing. And in Bant, you know how easy it is to manipulate the top of your deck too. You can what is it? Is Sylvan Tutor the one that throws it on top? Is that the 1 mana throw it on top?
Worldly Tutor.
Worldly Tutor, right? Like, okay, and I know we're kind of getting into maybe like bracket 4 territory with playing tutors, but like you can put what you want on top of your deck, right? And make
Yeah.
sure that you're
Yeah. No.
flipping
That's.
into what, yeah. So I think this is a really going to be really fun to play around with, and that was a big reason why I was excited for you to see, because I know that we both are kind of in that boat of loving to play Blink. So do
Now,
you
where
have
do you
any
rank
other
this?
thoughts? Ooh, where would I rank this? So obviously, I'm not even gonna front. I think Ozai is the best commander on this list, period. But if I had to rank it as far as what I think would be the most fun to play, I would put Aang at number one.
Wow.
I
So now
think.
we're changing the rules. Okay.
Well, okay, no,
Got it.
no, I'm saying if I had to rank it by the best, it would probably be Ozai, and then number two would probably be Azula. And honestly, if I had to be honest, I think number three might actually be Boomy. I think Boomy's maybe I'm like on something, but I think Boomy's really good. Um, so I'd throw Boomy, and then I would probably throw Aang, and then Iroh. But yeah, as far as like most fun to play, Aang is probably going to be up there for me because it's just I like the fact that you're testing fate a little bit. You're you know unless you're tutoring, you're kind of just like rolling the dice, playing the game, and that's what I always like when it's different, when you're not kind of doing the same thing, you know, every single game, and you're just kind
Hmm.
of just seeing what happens and then working with that. So, what about you though?
I'm exactly on the same page as you with the rankings. I mean, I think Aang is fun, but I don't know. I don't really like playing Blink at lower power brackets than 5. I
That's fair.
think that, I mean, the reason I made Plague on CEDH was because there was like legitimately no way to make it a reasonably I don't know. There was no way that it would lose. It was just played so reactive and so much interaction that it I don't like Blink for that reason in
Yeah,
lower brackets. But
I think there's a different
but
kind
yeah,
of link a little bit, but
yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I'm excited. I'll play this. So okay, so if Aang looks like the most fun, what would you put after that? We're talking about like
Most
just
fun. I don't know. I think I would have to put Azula as most fun.
hmm. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see some of the ways people are building Azula, however I do it. If you had to go and throw together Azula just from like your first look at her? Do you have any ideas of kind of where you would go, what kind of things you would throw in that deck?
Honestly, no. I'd probably just look through black to see what instant speed stuff, like what flash creatures and weird things you can do
Mm,
with that, because people aren't going to be expecting you to do that.
yeah,
And I think that's the way you make it most. The way this deck is the most broken is when you have Brewer's Advantage, I think.
for sure. You know, that's actually a good point too, because that's one thing I was kind of forgetting about, being able to just play anything at flash speed, giving
Hmm.
yourself like, what is it? Videlkin Ori gives lets you play flash speed. And there's, I don't know. I know there's more stuff. That's the only thing.
Leyline of Anticipation, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's the first things that come to my mind. And so, playing anything at flash speed. Oh yeah. Because this doesn't just copy instant sorceries. It's copy spells and double
Yep.
up on creatures. Oh my gosh, that would be pretty busted.
Hmm.
Azula's gonna be a lot of fun. So yeah, so that kind of does it for my list. And I'll tell you, I think I already mentioned it. It was kind of hard just to cut the list down to the couple cards I wanted to talk about for whatever reason that or the other. There's so many cards that they've been spoiling that are so awesome, and if we could punch them all in, then we would. But I'm super excited for this set. It's going to be so much fun to play in a limited environment, as well as a bunch of cards we can throw into commander decks. And that's kind of where I've been. Did you have any other thoughts, Adam? Just kind of on the set in general, maybe some of the cards that we talked about today.
I mean, I think I kind of hit everything on every card that I wanted to talk about. But I am really excited for this set. Um, Obviously, with my attire, you can tell I'm really excited. This is gonna be a fun set, and I think a lot. I mean, I do agree with you. This set, this list had to be hard to curate. I mean,
Yeah.
even the ones that I've seen spoiled that weren't on the list are nuts. So this is gonna be a good one.
Yeah. Yeah, I also wanted to put a little bit of variety, because not to say that a lot of the cards are the same, but I didn't want to put like, a bunch of cards that are all just about fire bending. And I know that
Mm-hmm.
ended up having like a bunch of them that had it, but still. So I tried to put a little variety, a little bit of spice in there. So hopefully you thought some of the cards were cool. If there's any cards that you think that we missed that have been pretty crazy, that have been spoiled yet, then throw a comment down below. Maybe we can take a look at those another time. Let us know your thoughts on this set so far. In the weeds of spoiler season, and just kind of what you're looking forward to. And yeah, we're really excited. Hopefully you guys are as well. Do you have anything else for the people, Adam?
No, close it out, man.
Yeah. Last reminder, just on the giveaway, we're still getting close. The 100 giveaway for the Magic Con Atlanta playmat. Super cool. So keep pushing for that, and we're excited. We'll get some more information on that soon. And thank you guys again for tuning in. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for watching, guys.
I love you.